Okay, I'm getting ready to do a demo on the DJI Spark drone. So we've got the aircraft, the controller, which for visuals has to be connected to a cell phone, which I'm sending to you. This is kind of a low-end cell phone, you know, one of my leftovers, but it should work and you can replace it. The connection, well, we'll get to that. Let's start with the aircraft. So the aircraft has 4 sets of props. There's kind of left and right props, so if anything gets messed up, you can look on the prop and it'll tell you whether it's left or right. And I'm shipping this to you with lots of spares. Odds are you'll never need it, because unless you run into a tree or something, you're probably going to be fine. And they kind of click in, click out. This sticker on the top, this drone is registered and it's got my phone number on it. You can probably scratch out that phone number and put in yours. They're required to have some kind of ID on them, and they're required to be registered if they're above 250 grams, and this is 300 grams, so this one needs to be registered. You don't have to worry about registering it. I've done that. You will need to go to the FAA drone site, and I'll send a link, and sign the trust document. It's something that says, you know, you're not a complete idiot, and you do need to have that, and then you can just keep that with the drone whenever you're flying it for recreational purposes. If you ever need to do it for money, you're going to have to get a commercial drone license, which I don't think is ever going to be in your future. So here's the drone, here's the camera. It's on a gimbal, and you can rotate it up and down. When you're flying, if you're looking at something and you want to move to the left, you don't gimbal this, you move the drone to the left and then gimbal up and down, and move to the right, gimbal up and down. So that's how you can control the photos. So the battery, and I'm shipping this with 3 of those, and these little Velcros were meant to hook on little strobe lights that I would have to use at dusk, because you're not allowed to really fly it at night. But I don't think that's something you're going to have to worry about. But anything else you want to Velcro on there, you can. So the batteries have this little pinch, and then they slide out. And you'll have 3 of these. And typical flight time on one of these batteries when it's fully charged is 10 minutes. And you can tell if it's fully charged by pressing this once, and if all 4 are lit up, then you know it's fully charged. And it'll go downhill. Then underneath this little cover, you've got a USB connection. It's a micro, so if you want to download data, and in it I've got a 32 gigabyte SD card, so you can either pull out the card to transfer stuff or transfer it with the micro. And the SD card will probably cover, you know, days and days and days of flying, so 32 gigabytes should cover a lot. This has no real sensor. A lot of the new ones have, you know, a few sensors so they don't run into anything, or many sensors. This one only has a ground sensor, which kind of tells it when it's close to the ground and it's about to land and to shut off. So, but it does have GPS in it. Let me see how much of this you can actually see when I'm moving it around. It does have GPS in it. So one of the good things, if you're flying and you suddenly freak out, just let go of all the controls and it'll just wait for you to figure out what's going on. So that's the drone. Next comes the controller, and the controller folds up nicely into this kind of a configuration. And what happens is you put the phone in here and connect a cable, and this has a micro only, and this thing charges through a micro, and I'll send you the charging cable for that. Now if your phone happens to be a USB-C, I'll include a cable for that. Let's see. And what I've done is I've marked these so that I've got an X, meaning it plugs into the transmitter, and typically the white part of it faces up, and the P stands for the phone. So transmitter phone. Now the one that you're gonna use has micros on both ends. So the phone is micro and the controller is micro. So plug this in. And then feed it through the side. Now what I typically like to do when I put a phone in is have the power button, you know, somewhere where I can get to it on the outside. So you kind of scooch it in here a little bit. It's always a little not perfect. Let's see, bring the cable through. And plug it in. Whoops, wrong side, since I'm going to do it this way. Plug it in, and then seat it, you know, as best you can. I made that noise. So then you can power it on and power it off because you got the power button on the outside. So let's go through the powering everything up. So you get your antennas up. Now there's a standard power on procedure for all DJI stuff. Press it once and then hold, and you'll see these lights come on. Same thing for the battery. Press it once, press and hold, and then this thing will twitch when it starts to come on. You can kind of hear it humming, and then it'll twitch. So then you power on the screen here, and 7151 is the passcode for this, and this is an old style, so you have to sit OK. So let's get out of this so that I can show you how to get into it. Okay, on your main screen, this is the DJI Go 4. And one thing you should always do is either the morning before or the day before, load this all up so it can do a version check and make sure everything is updated. You don't want to be out in the field and it'll say, oh, you know, you should probably be updating. You don't have to, but you should be updating. Okay, so you go into the DJI Go. The Spark should be shown. Here it should say connected, and then you say go fly. Okay, now it'll tell you the password is weak. Forget about it. Don't need to worry about it. And you can kind of tell right away when you see the camera, and it gives you a bunch of other stuff you don't need right away. So just to get out of that, it gives you the main screen, and when you move it around you can see the camera's working already. Down the lower left, eventually when it gets a GPS fix, this will show you in a map of where you are, and I think it'll eventually figure that out over time. So let's go through the different things. First on the controller, so here was the power switch. This tells you how much battery you've got left. This basically tells you you've got a good connection. Here's the controllers. So it's basically up, down, and then yaw, or rotate left and right. Up, down, rotate. And then this is move forward, move backwards, move to the left, move to the right. This pause button means if you're flying and you just want to like hang on, stop, you can just let go of the controller and it'll just kind of hover in that last position, or you can say pause and that sort of reinforces that. Now this function, we'll get into that at the very end. So what's cool is when you're ready to take a picture, like even if I want to take a picture right now, this is video and this is a photo. So I can go boom, and it took a photo. So let's try that again. And you can hear it take a photo. The other way you can do it is by tapping that button there. Or it can do a video. So it's a matter of you hit it and it starts, and you can sort of see seconds rolling off, and then you hit it again and that'll stop the video. So that's all good. Let's see, up, down, left, right. To move your gimbal. So to move the camera up or down, you've got a little scroll type thing here. So you can move the gimbal up and down like that. And like I said, if you want to go left and right, you have to actually rotate the aircraft left and right. This is for special additional functions. Won't get into that right now. The same as that thing. Okay, now note across here, DJI, ready to go, meaning it's got GPS. So turn on location, agree, and back out of this. And so it'll switch you from the big map to the drone. Let's go back to the drone. So here's a little GPS thing. Well, you can fiddle with that and figure it out, but eventually it'll show you where you are on your street and such. Sometimes what you can do is get that, North Street. So it did figure out where I am. So it shows me right where I am on North Street. And some of that may require Wi-Fi. So I'm not sure how well that's going to work unless you turn it on initially in the general area where you're working while you're connected to Wi-Fi, and then it can download that, cache that particular set of maps. So I forget what that is. That tells you whether or not you've got satellites. I don't know what that is. I think that says Wi-Fi. There's your battery. And then when you've got extra things to adjust, you can hit that. So what is this thing? Home point settings, enable dynamic home point, return to home at current altitude. You don't want that. When you return to home, like if it gets too far away or you're freaked out, you can hit this button here that says H, that doesn't mean hospital, return to home. And what it's going to do is it's going to rise up to a certain elevation that you can set here so that, you know, wherever it is, it doesn't hit power lines or power poles. So 45 meters, and I think we can change whether it uses meters or feet. So let's change that right away. Control, gimbal pitch speed, imperial. So let's stick with imperial. See if we can go back. And set some of this drone stuff. Well, it looks like they're going to force you. So 45 meters. It tells you underneath 147 feet. So that should easily be over power poles and trees. So when you hit return to home, it'll rise up, so it'll miss all the buildings and trees, come back over your head, and amazingly will come right back down where it took off from. So here's beginner mode. We're not going to put it in beginner mode. And maximum altitude is 393 feet. So legally, you're not allowed to fly over 400 feet. So I've got it set right below that. Distance, I don't have distance set. This just tells you how much Wi-Fi you have. Okay, so now the main controls you're going to have are over here on the left, which are different from what some of the newer things have. So if you hit that button, it'll give you, you have to slide this to actually take off. And as soon as it does that, as soon as you slide it, it's going to go a set number of feet high. You don't have to do anything, don't have to control anything. It'll just bounce up and just wait for your next command. So we're going to cancel that. So that's take off. And there's your return to home on the screen, but there's a return to home button right there. So the most important thing is this little controller thing. So this says normal, quick shots, active track, meaning if you use active track, you draw a little square around you or whatever you want it to follow, and it will follow you. Don't always count on it working so great. Tripod means that it'll basically go a lot slower so that it doesn't blur images and things. Gesture control, you can tell it to do things with your hand. That seems rarely usable. The most important one is this one called quick shots. Now I can't do it unless the drone is flying, but I'll do a demo of that at some point in time. So let's back out of this. So we've gone across the screen. It shows you some of the photo characteristics, the movie characteristics, 1080p at 30 frames per second, so that's pretty good video. I think this is just super fine controls of camera stuff, which I doubt if you'll want. This aircraft's entered an enhanced warning zone. Flash caution. I accept full responsibility. Yeah.
Okay. Shuffling responsibility in similar songs on Amazon Music.
Alexa, turn off. How about that for shit? Alexa, turn off. Alexa, turn off. Bitch. Pardon me. Okay. So, I don't know what this is either. I kind of forget. Oh, library. To get back to your videos if you want to look at it. So, chances are you won't need that either. So, let's just get out of that. Okay. So, that's the basic controls, connection. And once you want to turn everything off, it's a press and then hold. And it goes to sleep. Same thing with the drone. Press and hold. And it'll go to sleep. Okay, so the next video will be something about doing those quick shots, because quick shots are really the thing that you're going to want to use, especially at the beach. It does a lot of things automatically in a really great way. So that's that for now. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate a few things, but I'm not going to demonstrate all of it because I'm in my backyard. It's going to get windy today and I want to get this in the mail to you. So to start with, remember to power this on. It's press once and then press and hold, and then it starts to buzz. And you need to put it on a level surface, and it's good for it to be, the camera to be facing away from you, because when that happens, left is left and right is right when you're kind of flying it. Okay, and once again, to power this on, press and hold. So we know that's on. And then we go to the app, DJI app. Okay, this happened to come up Mavic 2. So you hit that down button, get over to Spark. Okay, once you see that it's in Spark, it's doing a version check, which you don't have to worry about. And then you press this Go Fly. Okay. I've warned you about the password being too simple. Forget about it. X out of that, and then you can finally see that you've got some image. Let me see if you can see that. Glare is a little bit bad. So, I'm just going to kind of get here behind the camera. So, to take off, you're going to have to press this little takeoff. Remember, I told you it's like a two-step process, and then the thing just jumps up And, whoops, sorry. I'm hitting my little arm thing. Okay, then you're going to slide this to the right. And it's just going to jump up.
Takeoff. The home port has been updated. Please check it on the map.
And note how it just hovers there, waiting for your next command. Now the main reason, what I'm going to do is just fly it a little bit away so it's not so noisy. So I'm going to come up a little bit and move off to the left. And what's great is it's just going to stay there, locked into GPS. Now the main thing I wanted to show you was this command. It's called Quick Shots coming up. So it won't show it unless you know, the thing's actually flying. So this is where a lot of the really cool stuff happens. And now I forget how to get to them. Quick Shots. And there should be a bunch of options. And I'm not seeing them. So I guess I need to review all that. So, not certain what I do here. Well, I'm gonna have to go back to class myself. Tap 5 tripod. It just reduces it. Okay. So I think this is to do a video. Let's get back into Quick Shots. How do I get into the options of Quick Shots? Huh. Well, I'm going to have to go and learn that. So just as an example right now, we're going to hit return to home. That's this button, and see how close it comes to landing. Now what it's going to do is go up and then come back down again. You got to press and hold.
Landing.
Whoop. Nope. That's just land. I want return to home.
Landing.
Well, that didn't work quite like I wanted it to.
Stop landing.
Stop landing. So, go to a big soccer or a football field. I'm just going to bring it down now.
Landing.
And once it lands, it knows to turn off. So, I have to go investigate Quick Shots. So I figured out what I was doing wrong with the Quick Shots. You have to get the drone into the right position, highlight your target. After you highlight your target, that bottom set of options will pop up, and you can pick whether you want to do a droney, a rocket, a spiral, or a circle. That's it. Okay, finally got it to work. So when you hit Quick Shots, you should get this little command line at the bottom, or a droney, and I'm not going to do it because I'm in a bunch of trees and power lines. But you aim the camera towards yourself, you highlight yourself, and it'll like be close and then zoom away and come back. Circle, you put it up away from you a ways, aimed at you, highlight yourself, and it'll fly a circle all the way around you. Helix, it'll do a ascending spiral. Once again, you have to highlight yourself. And then rocket, where it'll just go straight up. I'm going to try rocket. So I'm going to turn the drone around. Get it up, and then you can use this little gimbal to aim the camera down so that now you can see me. And go to the side a little bit, back a little bit. So I'm going to say rocket. It'll give you a little bit of an introduction on how to do it. So I'm going to highlight myself. Okay. And it says go. And I think you just 2, 1. And it's going to start recording. That didn't work like I wanted it to. So go to a big soccer field, because I thought it was going to go straight up, but it moved away from me. I guess you got to scan up to get this. So I want rocket. I'm going to aim down. See, it's stuck on that. So I'm going to X out. Hit droney. Quick shot.
Low battery warning.
I got a low battery warning. So I'm going to have to, there we go.
3.
Oops, I was still on droney. Gotta practice this stuff. Scan up. Scanning up looks like it causes me to, and then I say rocket. Now I'm on rocket. Now I say go.
2, 1.
See if it does it. That seems to be working. Yeah. That's working. And we've got low battery warning.
No signal. Landing.
So it's coming down. Looks like it's coming down pretty close to the landing pad. It slows down near the end. You can tweak it a little bit. And it lands. So get to a nice open field to practice this and get a sense about battery life and all that. So once again, to turn off, press hold. Press, hold, and it all turns off. So, 10 to 15 minutes, you've got 3 different batteries. So that at least will allow you to, get a bunch of things done at one time.